We are currently in a loneliness epidemic with Gen Z at the forefront of it all. According to a study done by Gallup, around 25% of men from ages 15 to 34 report feeling lonely. And this is due to several factors. The first point is that a lot of men don't actually know how to make friends, right? So some men will only view going to the bar with people instead of genuinely hanging out or, getting to know them. They believe that that builds relationships. But that's not a relationship. That is a transaction. You know, you going to hang out with people on the weekends, you going to hang out with just going to the bar and talking to people, that doesn't actually build relationships with those people. I feel like you have to actually hang out with these people outside of that setting, and build those connections and those relationships through conversations or just other activities that you can connect with them on. You know what I'm saying? Like different hobbies, like going to play basketball or going to the movies or just going to like a coffee shop or something and just having a deep conversation. I feel like those things actually build connections and relationships instead of just going to the bar on the weekends and getting drunk. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I go to the bars and stuff with my friends, but it's the fact that I actually know them and I've been friends with them for years. It's not like I'm going to the bar with people that I'm not really friends with. You know what I'm saying? And so it's honestly the same thing when it comes to talking to women, right? In terms of like dating and stuff like that. Like nowadays we have all these dating apps and things of that nature where I guess hypothetically it is easier to meet women, but it's harder to talk to them. A lot of men struggle with talking to women because they only view it as a transaction. They only view it as a means to get something out of it instead of actually wanting to build that deep and intimate connection with that person. The second point I want to make is that Manosphere content and social media have warped men's brain to treat women like shit. And examples can include, the Tate brothers, the Fresh and Fit podcast, Clavicular, all of those bozos, right? These men, young men specifically, like teenagers and things like that, because that's really who their biggest audience is. These young men have been groomed to hate women, but at the same time, expect women to do whatever they want them to do. You know what I'm saying? They've been taught that, oh, women are the greatest evil in the world. Women are the ones that will bring you down. Women are holding you down. Just all of this bullshit, right? And they eat it up all the time because they're impressionable teenagers, right? And so if they're being groomed to hate women, that only means that at a certain point, women are not going to want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you hate women, if you're treating them like shit, why would they want to be with you? At least most women, right? And I know there's, special situations where certain women may want to be with you. I couldn't tell you why. That's for them to go through and deal with. But yeah, like women don't want to deal with that shit. If you hate women, how can you expect them to want to be with you? You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a way to get out of that content. And there needs to be more content that is geared towards young men that will actually boost them up instead of bringing them down to only hate women and themselves. You feel me? The high value stuff, it's never made sense to me because there is no such thing as a high value man or woman, right? We're all people at the end of the day. We're all humans. No one here is high value. We're all on the same tier. And so this ties into my third point. And this one might be a hot take. Like some people might disagree with me and some people might get in the comments about this one. But I honestly feel like some men are closeted. Like they're gay, but they don't want to come out. And instead, they will use that as a means to hate women because they don't like them. They actually don't like women. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with being gay. I support everyone in the LGBTQ community, right? It's just Be honest with yourself and be honest with the rest of us, right? If you don't like women and you hate women, or if you're gay or asexual or whatever you want to be honest. Do not use that as a means to dog women. I've seen so many people in my life that choose to do this stuff, and then in my head I'm thinking, you might just be gay, and that's cool, right? But it's time for you to confront your sexuality instead of using it as a means to hate. It's honestly the same thing with religion, but that's a whole another topic, that's a whole another topic for another day. But yeah, like, I've talked to people about this as well, and they've also came to the same consensus that some men just don't like women. Some of y'all are gay. And that's just how it is. Let's just be honest with ourselves so we can all move past it. Not move past being gay, but so we can all grow. You feel me? The fourth point I want to touch on is that at least like younger men, I feel like a good amount of them lack emotional intelligence, right? There are certain groups of people that don't like to hang out with men who lack emotional intelligence. Honestly, that's me. Like, I have friends and I have people I know that are men that do lack emotional intelligence, and it's harder to hang out with them sometimes. It's harder to talk to them sometimes because everything has to be a joke. Everything has to be unserious, or the remarks sometimes are just baffling to me as a grown man. Like, I know grown men still making edgy ass jokes. I'm like, dude, you 21, 22, we still making jokes about gay people. We still making jokes about racists. Like, come on, bro. We got to grow up. Like, I ain't saying we can't make jokes. I ain't saying we can't be funny. Like, I always like a good joke. And even like some darker humor, if it's actually presented well instead of just punching down people, like, sometimes I laugh at it. But when it's just as a means to just say something outlandish or just use slurs, it's tiring. It's lame. Like, it's time to grow up. You feel me? And that's why some people, if you're watching this and you do this stuff, like you make these jokes and shit like that, and you wonder why people don't want to be around you, it's time to think. Now, I've presented the picture to you in 4K. It's time for you to now take initiative to maybe think to yourself, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that stuff. Maybe I shouldn't have made those jokes. Maybe the things I say actually affect people. Instead of being like, nah, it's a joke. Y'all being sensitive, this, and that. Y'all being snowflakes. It's like, nah, at the end of the day, some shit is that deep. We need to move past that and actually lift people up instead of making dumb jokes. Be creative. Don't just say slurs. That shit is tiring, right? And so, it's like having the emotional intelligence of a fifth grader, right? I just don't understand that. Like, I get tired of it. People get tired of it, and they would just rather hit you with community sanctions. And that's valid. I'm all for community sanctions. If anything, we need more community sanctions because there's people who act the fool and get away with it because their friends don't say anything, and they just let it happen until it boils over. I mean, I've been there before. It's just difficult to have serious connections and, not serious connections, but serious conversations and connect with these people when they act like this. I've even distanced myself from some of my closest friends, or, stop being friends with people like this because at a certain point, I'm tired of it. That's not who I want to be. And you know the saying, those who you surround yourself with is a reflection of you. And I ain't trying to be reflected like that. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying like I'm high and mighty, but I can definitely say that, like, compared to the average Gen Z man, like, I do feel like I have a higher emotional intelligence because I understand stuff. Like, honestly, at this point, a lot of the friends I have are women because it gets tiring for me to hang out with men who say outlandish shit all the time. Like, it's just at a certain point, you reach your limit, and you can only take so much. And for me, I've just grown to know my limit and I've adjusted accordingly, The fifth point is that, at the end of the day, all we're asking men to be are decent people. I'm a man. obviously, like, I've heard the comments from women and other people like, oh, I hate men and things like that. But at a certain point, I think about it and I'm like, I can see why people have these thoughts because they deal with so many shitty men. And then the shitty men wonder, oh, why did people stop being friends with me? Oh, why do I not have a girlfriend? Bro, it's because of you. You don't want to change. You want to sit there and keep making these jokes and stuff like that. And people don't want to be around you, you know? So at the end of the day, all we're asking people to be are just decent human beings. All we're asking men to be are just decent human beings. No one is asking you to be a saint. None of us are perfect. You feel me? In terms of relationships, like, I've been in one for 6 years and I still make mistakes. I'm not perfect. There's always room to grow, but in order to grow from that, you need a good floor to begin with. You need a good structure within your house if you want to build on top of it, right? But yeah, I really just wanted to drop this think piece on this because a lot of men are struggling with loneliness, and I'm trying my best to give my thoughts on it and hopefully help some men grow out of the, let's just call it a phase, hopefully grow out of these phases they're in into better people. Like I said, there's no need to be perfect. None of us are perfect. Just be decent and actually hear people out and genuinely connect with them, and you will definitely find a way to ease your loneliness. So thank you all for watching. Subscribe for more think pieces like this, like the video, and leave a comment if you are feeling lonely as a man, and I'll respond to it, and maybe someone else will respond to it. So yeah, take care of yourselves and do great things every day.